Hi guys, so I'm going to go over the homework for the weekend, and don't forget this is just part 2. Part 1 was last night's homework, which was to find the rate of change for tables to find out if it was linear or nonlinear. So a work has to be shown, and that's going to be actually turned in on Monday, okay? So number 3. Number 3 here, basically remember we have to use to find the slope from 2 points. We're actually finding if it is the rate of change, and then also we're also finding the unit rate, and this is the formula we've been using. It's the change in y over change in x. So I'm going to go ahead and label my x and y. Now again, anytime during this video, I strongly suggest that you do it on your own. Now there's 2 ways to do this, okay? You could put a 1, 1 here or a 1, 1 here, and then what that does is that's going to change your sign, but the number stays the same. And then at the end, when you divide the numbers, like for example, let's say you decided to do this negative 15, switch these numbers, okay, and then put this negative 15 here and then negative 16 here, this would have become a positive 1. And if you put the negative 7 here and the 19 here, this would have become a negative 26. But in the end, you still have a positive divided by negative, and it'll be a negative number. So if you did yours a little bit differently than mine as far as, you know, which x's you used first or which y's, in the end, if you do it correctly, we should still get the same answer, okay? So I'm going to do 1, 1 here, and then 2, 2 here, all right? And so if I do the rate of change, which is change in y over change in x, I start with your minus. I'm going to do y2 minus y1, which is negative 4 minus 7, and then negative 6 minus, oh, just lost that lead, hold on. Okay, so then the x2 minus x1 is negative 6 minus a negative 4. Okay, now again, be very careful when you guys are calculating these. A negative 4 minus 7, if you think of it as keep, change, change, it'll become like this, and that same sign's add and keep. So if I'm doing it without a calculator, you add those and keep the sign. But if you're using a calculator, just do negative 4 and then minus 7, and you should still get negative 11. If that went too fast for you, what I just explained, just go back and pause it and think it through. Okay, here this is a negative 6 minus a negative 4, which becomes a positive plus a positive 4. Different signs subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. Keep the same sign of the larger. Now never leave 2 negatives, because 2 negatives can be decluttered and it doesn't make it look, we can make it more visible or clean to the eye. So make this positive and just get rid of those. The answer is 11 over 2. Okay? And leave it as a fraction, don't change it to a decimal. So that's number 3. So I would suggest pause the video and see if you can do number 4, and in the end get the same answer as I do, even if you did yours in a different order than I did. But the main thing is the y stay on top. So I need to know my x and y. Let's say I put 1, 1 here, 2, 2 here, okay? And let's say we do y2 minus y1, so 16 minus 8. And then x2 minus x1, that's a 9 minus 20. Remember, your eyes can play tricks on you with these numbers being so close to each other, side by side. So really try, you know, some people will put a box around the y's, a circle around the x's, just to make sure they don't accidentally use the wrong number. And I even double check because my eyes play tricks on me. So 16 minus 8 and then 9 minus 20. 16 minus 8 is 8. 9 minus 20 is a negative 11. And don't leave the negative down there. Just bring it out and make it a negative fraction. So this is a positive 8 divided by negative 11. The answer is going to be a negative number. So think of 8 11ths as the number and then the negative in front of that. Okay? So this is my slope. And again, leave it as a fraction. Let's go down to number 7. X, Y, X, Y. I'm going to switch it up. I'll put 2, 2 here and 1, 1 here. And there's my rate of change, and let's say I decide to go like this, okay? I do y1 minus y2, no big deal. Then I'll do x1 minus x2 on the bottom. So negative 15 minus 0, so negative 15 minus 0, and then negative 11 minus 3, negative 11 minus 3. So negative 15 minus 0 is negative 15. Negative 11 minus 3 is negative 14. Get rid of the double negatives and just make it a positive. And that is your answer, okay? Number 18, x, y, x, y. Again, pause the video whenever you can. Maybe I'll put a 2 here and a 1 here. And what if I just go in this direction? As long as I do the y's first, and that goes on top. So let's say I do negative 2 divide by, or minus 10, and then 19 minus a negative 11. So this negative 2 minus 10 becomes negative 12. 19 minus a negative 11 becomes 19 plus 11, which is 30. Now this can be simplified. Finally, I'm glad that there's something you have to simplify, but let me double check. Let's see, negative 2 minus 10, yep. 19 minus a negative 11, which becomes double, which is a positive, so yeah. And now this is where we've done this in ELT, where you look for the greatest common factor. So if you want to start with 2, you know that both of them are divisible by 2, you can go for that. In fact, if I think about, well, 3 goes into it. So remember what we said. Don't worry about the negatives yet. Just think about the numbers themselves. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. And then that's it. Okay, and then 30, you have 1 times 30 is 30. 2 times 15. Got 3 times 10. Not 4. 5 times 6. And then that's it. Now, obviously, they'll have 1 in common as a common factor. They have 2 as a common factor. 3 as a common factor. They even have a 6. Oh, I could have picked, and I didn't even think about it. That's my brain today. So the greatest common factor is 6. If you divide by 6, you'll be done. Let's say you didn't think about 6 like I didn't, and maybe you divided by 3. Then you'll just have to divide again by maybe 2. Or let's say you divided by 2, okay? Then you end up getting a negative 6 over 15. But see, that's not fully simplified yet. That means you could still divide by 3. Well, if you wanted to go faster, just go ahead and divide by 6. And then that'll get you straight to your answer. But negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So it's negative 2/5. But let's make sure that the negative comes out to the front of the fraction. And that's my answer. Hopefully that helped. If you struggle with that, try doing it again. Maybe you can copy this ordered pair onto like a separate sheet of paper, and then just, without everything else that your eyes can see, just copy, for example, 19 comma negative 2 and negative 11 comma 10 onto a separate sheet of paper, and see if you can figure it out and see if you still get negative 2/5. All right, so give that a try. You have plenty of problems here to practice again, and then see if that works. And if you have questions, just make sure you ask that in tutoring on Monday morning or come and ask that in class. Okay, I hope you enjoy your weekend and that you make sure you get this homework done as well as the other homework as well. This is the end of the video.